Okay, welcome to the Meredith Show. If you're just tuning in, we are live with Angie Wolf and Matt Potts. They are both in South Carolina. I'm coming to you from the West Coast. Thank you so much for being with us. And the Meredith Show is all about inspiration. So we were overjoyed to find out about the amazing things that both Angie and Matt are doing in South Carolina. And I'd like to start off with just giving you some information about Angie, because Angie is a very special person who owns Fit Columbia. Welcome, Angie Wolf. Thank you for being with us.
Hi, Meredith. Thank you.
So it's so wonderful to have you on the program. You are a really special person, in my opinion. In fact, I have never, ever known anybody who is certified in 300 hours of yoga training, but also has a yoga for cancer specialization. Tell me how that came to pass. You are an amazing soul, and you have 200 hours of yoga teacher training. You do pre and postnatal yoga, and you are doing all sorts of charitable work. So I guess my question is, how did you get involved with these wonderful specializations, especially working with cancer patients? That's amazing.
I actually won a scholarship after my teacher training. My mentor, Pam Merriweather, nominated me to be one of the recipients. So I represented South Carolina to get the cancer training. So I traveled up to Charlotte, and we learned how to treat our clients through every stage of the cancer process. So through chemo, through radiation, we learned how to use gravity and keep them moving and keep them safe through every stage of the process. So it was an amazing experience. I got to watch a lot of surgeries and learn what the cancer patients were going through. And it helped me understand better when we're putting people into different postures, how best that they would recover and heal.
Unbelievable. It's so unique to find somebody who not only trains but has multiple levels of certifications. I know you're passionate about being top of your game and the quality that you give to your clients. And one of the things I think is fascinating about you is you take on a massive amount of interns every year, and once in a while a very special one like Matt comes along. And tell me a little bit about why you do the intern program and how Matt charmed you.
Well, in the personal training industry, there's not a governing body to make sure that we are licensed, certified, insured. So we really have to be responsible to take on all the additional trainings and CEUs, et cetera. And so I believe that mentoring is really the best way to make a difference. I mentor on average about a dozen people from Midlands Technical College and also the University of South Carolina, exercise science students, and also personal training WITS program. And every year I pick one intern that already comes really prepared. And Matt was one of those great examples. He came in and had, he had abundant energy. He took the time to already get first aid CPR done. He believed in what he was doing, and he was just fun to be around. And once I saw him training, and then he allowed me to train him, we had a great rapport. And so the next step was just to sit down and brainstorm how we can then give back to the community.
Well, I have to say that's what really sparked my interest in talking to you. So Matt, you're a graduate of the University of South Carolina. Fun fact about you, I meant to ask, you said you were not only a Gamecock fan, but an Eagles fan. Where are you from originally?
I'm from Columbia. Technically, I'm not a graduate of USC. I'm going back in the fall.
Very good.
So I went there for 4 years and had a lot of fun, but didn't graduate. So now I'm getting my life back on track and together.
That's inspiring.
So I'm going to take athletic and hopefully have a really awesome career doing this kind of thing.
I understand you've been training hard for 3 years, but you've also worked in the service industry, which sparked the topic we'd like to dive into today. You have actually started a class, and they're offered twice a week at Fit Columbia. Tell people where Fit Columbia is, Angie, for those who are tuning in all over the country. Tell us where you're located.
We're located on Divine Street, which is just a half a mile from Five Points. We are located on a main strip of a lot of beautiful shops. There's many restaurants and bars nearby, and Epworth Children's Home is right next to my studio, which is actually wonderful because we'll go running through their park, and that's one of the best ways we can interact with their kids is because we can go right back there.
And so this is just the recipe for the perfect group of awesomeness and a great series of events, because Matt, you understand what it's like to work in the service industry and still want to be fit because you did that for quite some time. And it sounds like, if you want to explain how this came together, you decided to offer this opportunity to train people a little later in the evening. Tell us when your classes are and what you do in them.
They're on Mondays and Wednesdays. They're generally run I'm there from 8 till 10, maybe a little bit before 8. Anybody can come in. They can come in by themselves or with other people. And again, that's in the evening. Do an individualized training for them. We work with all different types of fitness levels and different whatever you kind of want. We kind of mold it to you and your body style and your lifestyle. I work with young and old people. Some people bring their 12-year-old kids, and I find something for them to do that's fun for them and some athletic training into. So
very cool. And the best part is it's a donation-based class, and you're giving your fees to a charity. So Angie, tell me how that works.
We are offering a sliding scale so that when someone gets off of work, they can come and get a great workout. And whatever they donate, we're collecting and going to give back to Epworth Children's Home.
Okay, now Epworth Children's Home is a spectacular place. For those who've never heard of it, it is also located in Columbia, South Carolina. And what I think is really amazing is there are children there who are looking to reconnect perhaps with their family, but it is a residential home for either abused or neglected children. And so these children are ages 4 to 18, and some of them will eventually be eligible for foster care, and some of them are there temporarily. But essentially, they take a lot of, Angie, I know Angie just kind of popped off there, so she can come back in. But Matt, I know you can answer. So yes, you are now taking the money that comes in from that sliding scale and donating it all to Epworth Children's Home?
Right. Yes, ma'am. There's no minimum donation. There's no maximum donation. It's really about your personal journey and getting fit, but also doing something for a good cause. So sorry, I keep getting texts and it's kind of annoying, but
we can't hear them, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Epworth Children's Home is saying thank you. And what a fantastic organization. I can't say enough good. And hopefully we're bringing Angie back into the conversation. So Angie's actually there you are. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. And I can hear you. Welcome back. So we were just kind of talking about how special Epworth Children's Home is. You have a lot of charities and wonderful, gorgeous things that you do. And give back to the community. And I think that that's the most commendable thing about your business. And it's one of the reasons why I wanted to invite you to be on the show. But why Epworth Children's Home? I know it's located nearby, but what is it about that group and organization that is near and dear to your heart?
I have worked with kids. I've been coaching volleyball for 17 years. I'm the strength and conditioning coach at Hammond School. And kids at every age need physical fitness. They need an outlet to play. And by the time you're 13 years old, you have an idea of how you're going to treat your body the rest of your life based on how you were treated in sports or PE. And kids at Epworth should really be encouraged to try out for high school sports and middle school sports. And they should be giving ways to release anxiety and how to stretch and things like that in their own rooms. And what I found was bringing these interns in, they're young and they're enthusiastic and they're great as a tool to reach the young kids at Epworth with. So last year we adopted a boys' cottage, and we had young boys, 13 years old, and we taught them how to lift weights properly and safely, and we encouraged them all to try out for school sports. And there was a female intern at the time, and these boys were such a hoot because we all had push-up contests and handstand contests, and they just made me really happy. But after that, we adopted the girls' cottage, and we taught the girls how to use the equipment that was on site at Epworth.
Wow.
Because I believe that's important. Girls should be able to walk into any gym and have confidence in what they're about to do. So I chose Epworth because I think it's because I have just a big love for young people and a love for fitness, and I don't want any more shy adults paying for gym memberships and never using them.
Well, and I have to say, the Epworth Children's Home, many people who don't really understand what goes on, I mean, being in the foster care system, from what I understand, I was speaking to Epworth Children's Home today, 2%, less than 2% go on to graduate from college when you're in the foster care system. But this past year at Epworth, 100% of their students who were residential actually graduated from high school, which is amazing. Many of these children who have these challenges often drop out and don't make it. So fitness and discipline and anything positive that makes you feel good is obviously a lovely combination. So it's so commendable that you're giving back. Matt, what does it make you feel like to receive? I mean, tell us a little bit about the support the community has given to you and the donations you've received so far for Epworth.
Well, first off, I want to really thank Angie. She lets me kind of do my own thing. I'll show her a workout, and she'll just suggest how she wants me to maybe change it, but not in a bad way. So I want to thank her for that. She kind of lets me do what I want to do, what I'm good at. So, we've gotten a lot of great people to come out to the workouts, all different types of people, all different types of background. It's been really cool to meet new people that maybe I wouldn't normally meet in an everyday life as busy as I am. That's kind of it, I guess, as far as that goes.
Yes, and as far as donating to Epworth, that's a warm fuzzy. Tell us how it feels and how you wound up. I understand that that's one of Angie's favorite charities, but I know you do a lot of different work there. Must feel really good, doesn't it, Matt?
Yes, ma'am. It's awesome. It's good. It's always good to give back when you can. I feel like anything you learn, if you're not giving it back and using it to do better, then you're not really, it's kind of a waste. So I enjoy it.
And
Matt works.
Go ahead. Angie,
Matt works now at his current job.
Yes. Tell us a little bit about that.
Right. Okay. I work at South Carolina Youth Challenge Academy. It's a residential care facility for troubled 16 to 18-year-old youth. Many of them have just made simple mistakes, gotten in trouble, gotten kicked out of school too many times, whatnot. They come to us. They live with us for 6 months. We work to get them their GED. They get a bunch of different certificates. I coach the softball team and the soccer team. I certify them to drive a forklift, and also give them a Serve Safe certification, which is a certification you can use to go get a job in a restaurant.
Wow.
So that's a little bit about what we do. The website is South Carolina Youth it's scyouthchallenge.com. And it's a great place to work. I really enjoy it. We're teamed with the National Guard, so it's a good place.
Yeah, it sounds like it's a beautiful fit for you to also connect with Epworth Children's Home. It must also be near and dear to your heart as well. Well, Angie, one of the things I'd like you to share is what inspires you, because many people train people and make a fabulous living, but you tend to take it a lot further when it comes to giving back. So what motivates you and what inspires you? Because I think you are really special.
I think that just asking someone to lift heavier or run farther will make anybody sore. And I feel like that's not what I want to do. I have a client who has rheumatoid arthritis since she was 27. Now she's in her 60s. And for the first time she has no pain in her elbows. And it's because of what I've learned through all the yoga and the Thai yoga massage and stretching. She didn't know how to exercise without being able to use her arms. And I showed her so many safe ways to exercise. And it's so humbling. And you're doing the right thing because you don't have to overthink it. It sort of just happens, and the accumulation of everything you learn. But her husband made her call me and tell me that she's had no pain. She was too afraid to say it in case it came back. And just things like that. A lot of, weight loss clients, just seeing them achieve their goals is really fun, and maintaining a healthy lifestyle. But every time somebody comes in, they're such a unique body, and their body represents this history. And so the benefit of the personal training is I get to be with that one person through the whole time. So I've had clients for years and years, and it's just a blessing.
Well, speaking of a blessing, Matt, you must find it a great reward, and you're certainly going to school to continue this process, which is why you're working with Angie. Why are you passionate about training? What does it give back to you and to your clients?
I realize now that maybe I didn't realize when I was younger is that one of the few things that you can control is your effort and the actual effort that you put in. So I like to actually see people give effort, whether it's anything to just even functional health, like being able to carry groceries to your car, things that we can work on with people to help them with everyday tasks. I think is awesome. I enjoy learning new things. I always enjoy going to see Angie's classes, because she's always doing something different that I wouldn't even think to do. It's always really awesome. I'm more of a weightlifting background, but I've been learning a lot more like yoga things.
Love my yoga. Sorry, when you say the word yoga, I get excited. I know you share the love too, Angie, with yoga. But it's a nice compliment to weightlifting, right?
Matt and I joke about this. It is extremely important to weightlift. Everybody at every age should be doing weight resistance and some sort of training to challenge their muscles and bones. But Matt and I joke that it's Spider-Man and the Hulk. It just depends on where you're at in your life. They're good things, and but it's nice when you can marry them both.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, I have a funny story about that, and it's a quick one, so I'll share it. I did 3 triathlons a few years ago, and the first one I did, I trained twice a day. I alternated with swimming, biking, and running for like 6 days a week. And the second time I did it, I did the same, and I didn't have a very different time. The third time I trained, I pulled back on the double workouts, and I doubled my yoga, and I finished the same exact race 17 minutes faster. So I don't know what it is about yoga. Maybe it's the breath. I have no idea, but I'm a raving fan ever since that happened. Who knew? And speaking of competitions, Angie, you are, I can say this because this is a blab, a complete badass. Tell us a little bit about the competitions that you participate in and that you coach for, because I think it's really amazing.
Well, I've pretty much played sports for as long as I can remember. My women's volleyball team, we competed and won in Jamaica in 2009. We won the Venus International Tournament. I played in an all-Chinese tournament in Los Angeles, but I'm Korean, don't tell.
I was going to say, when I was reading that fun fact about you, they accepted you anyway?
You're allowed to have 2 non-Chinese players. But if we had won, we would have had to have proven authenticity of our history. We didn't win. But we won. So in the last 3 years, I've started playing tennis. And so I'm really enjoying tennis. I like when I between volleyball and tennis, I took a couple years off and did whitewater rafting and whitewater kayaking, hiking. We did Mount St. Helens, Mount Katahdin, Mount Washington, all those mountains, but it's not the same as winning. So I like competitive sports where we can duke something out.
Well, tell me a little bit about, I understand you have some connections with Spartan races. I mean, those are amazing. For people who don't know what they are, explain those.
Yes. So there's a mud run. It's pretty popular here in South Carolina. And there's a lot of obstacles that you run. You climb ropes and crawl under barbed wire. So I run in those races, and I also take clients through the races if they've never done one before. And I will wear an armband with a camera, and I'll take pictures of them racing. But I'll run at their pace, and then I'll train them for the race in advance. So.
Okay, but for people who don't know what these are, I mean, they are intense. It's not just like you're running. So explain a little bit about what a Spartan race is.
So a Spartan race, the Tough Mudders, the mud runs, they all come in various lengths of race. So you can do a 5K. The one that I run is 16 plus miles. So it's somewhere between 16 and 20 miles. And they go all the way up to 24-hour races. So you run 24 hours straight.
I'm giving you props right now.
You run through the cold mud, then you jump into a water pit, swim across. You have to climb up 10-foot walls, jump down the other side. I've seen many of injury on the side of the race, but the further you go in these races, the less you see because more people are training for them than just showing up trying to do something cool.
Wow. Well, I just see just some housekeeping. Matt has some major fans. You're getting, when you click on the hands, and we need to give some to Angie too, in the right corner. There we go. There we go. So if you like what they're saying, it's just giving you props because both of you are talking about some amazing stuff. Okay, so you're both inspirational to me, but we've touched on some things that you enjoy. What inspires you the most? Because you're so dedicated to fitness and helping others, but tell me about some of the greatest rewards that you've seen so far. And Angie, you can start.
Greatest rewards?
Yeah. You're giving back all the time. We know that. But what do you find most rewarding?
Well, I love my mentors or my mentees, my students that come through. One of my students is now teaching yoga at Strictly Running. There's another one who's now a full-time nutritionist in Greenville. Nikki, I actually hired her. She was my intern last year. And I hired her. She's working for me. The really cool part, Nikki and I have been traveling the state for the last year, and we've been finding women in fitness to honor. And so every single month, the Columbia Star publishes a woman that inspires us. And we found women who teach gyrotonics, women who teach aerial yoga, women. Gyrotonics is a dance style training that uses these machines, and I know I'm butchering it, but just very fluid movements that make you very flexible, very strong. But we featured Elise Matthews from CORE, but we travel around and find...
somebody who's not from here, that's Columbia Opportunity Resource. It's a group for young adults, correct?
CORE, one from Elise Matthews is KORE. So she's located in Rosewood.
Gotcha.
We find a different woman every month to feature that's in fitness, and at no cost to them, and we promote them and we go take their class. And so that's pretty rewarding because there's also not a body that honors people in the fitness industry. So in Columbia, South Carolina, in our state, we don't have any way of recognizing someone who's been doing good work for a long time. So I just took it upon myself, along with my intern and the Columbia Star, to start picking people out every month and just recognizing them for all the great that they've done and continue to do. So that's rewarding.
That is extremely rewarding, and we call that sharing the love. When you know somebody's doing something amazing, you don't want to keep it to yourself, you want to share it. So one of the things I thought would be cool is, how can people read your articles online? Do you share them on your website? Tell us where they can find that information, because people are literally tuning in from all over the world if you're looking in your screen. So you might get some fans who might like to log on. Tell them where they can find those articles. I know you share them.
I have a WordPress blog. On my website, there's actually links on the right-hand side that have all the stories that I've either written or been featured in. I write for the Columbia Star as well as the Midland Anchor, and so there'll be articles and features in there. And I post many of my favorites on LinkedIn. So
very cool.
I try to use as many social media outlets as possible. So Fit Columbia hopefully will pop up on your Google feed whenever you start looking.
Yes, and so that comes to another area that I like to share that's important to me is how people can connect with Fit Columbia and follow you. So on Instagram, you're easy to find. You're Fit Columbia. On Facebook, you're Fit Columbia SC. And Twitter, you can be found under Fit29205. Do I have that right?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so another awesome thing is that we're going to share all of Angie's contact information and her social media channels. All you have to do is go to the Meredith Show on Facebook after this broadcast, and we'll post how you can follow her on YouTube as well, and a direct link to the blog that we're talking about, which is super awesome. I'd like to take a moment to thank people who are tuning in from all over the country. Again, if you're just tuning in, tell us where you're tuning in from. We appreciate it. If somebody's talking about something that you enjoy and it resonates with you, we ask you to hit the little hands to give them some props. And Matt, are you getting tired of us? No,
my phone's about to die. I'm gonna go grab my phone charger real quick. Sorry.
Okay, we appreciate that. We won't be on too much longer, but I do want to open up the line. You can call in and ask a video question. If you'd like to send a message in the right-hand corner and ask Angie a question, whether it's about fitness, about how she got involved with her charity. We shared a little bit about it. Again, I'd like to talk for a moment about the Epworth Children's Home because this is what sparked everything for me and why I wanted to share the story of Matt and Angie, because they are not just training people or giving back to the community in general. They're doing amazing things. I've actually never heard of a class that has a sliding scale. So right now they're offering 2 classes twice a week, and Matt is teaching them where all the proceeds are going directly to the Epworth Children's Home. And if you're just tuning in, the Epworth Children's Home is a residential home where abused or neglected children are taken in. Some of them will eventually reconnect with their family as things heal and progress, but others may go up for adoption and be looking for a forever home. And this is an amazing organization that really relies on the community for donations. So I guess there's probably a spark of a lot of interest for such a special place. So I do want to make sure to mention that you can log on to epworthchildrenshome.org and read up more about how special this place is. You're prompted and your heart is being tugged like mine to give a donation. That's also the place to do so. So as we close out, does anybody have any questions? We have a few more minutes in this blog. Oh, go ahead.
I do. So I also wanted to encourage everybody to come out to the Epworth Gala. The Friends of Epworth, up and coming business leaders, and they've come together and put together a beautiful gala. I went last year. The food was so good. But come to the gala, get gala tickets at www.friendsofepworth.org, and then you can come and see me and Matt. I'm hoping Meredith will come, but come on out and have some great food. You'll hear great stories. They brought a child out last year, or an adult now, that told their story, and it was so touching. But I'd love for you to come out and join us and see everybody.
Well, there's nothing like meeting the children and learning, firsthand the stories behind the successes there, and all of the wonderful people that make it happen. I know Mitzi is very kind and excited about this broadcast. Tell us who Mitzi is. I know you're pretty tight with her, Angie.
Mitzi is one of the big dogs at Epworth, and she wanted me to make sure you guys knew that we have a higher education resident coming to speak this year. So that means people who have gone through and been real successful, they're coming back to speak, and that's it. Last year, we all had a chance to talk to them after they spoke and give them more props, and I wish I could give them a high five like you guys are. There you go. Everybody's
college. Yeah, I see she's typing in the right-hand corner. Very cool. What a great success story. All right, so as we round out this broadcast, again, I have to thank people for tuning in. I am so excited to see people. It looks like somebody in the UK and possibly in Canada is tuning in. Definitely several, and looks like in New York, the middle of the country. If you're tuning in right now, please tell us where you're watching. We appreciate it. If you don't mind hitting the tweet button to share this broadcast, the beauty of it is, if you didn't catch us at the beginning, you can watch the rebroadcast. You can subscribe to the Meredith Show, where it'll be forever housed on the YouTube channel, but this link is also good to replay at any time. So those who might not have caught it, feel free to what we call share the love. And I'd like to end out with, generally speaking, a few words of encouragement. And I'll start with Matt. Matt, there are a lot of people who want to train, and just like yourself, they may have had challenges in the past with their time, with their schedule. What advice do you have to those people to get started?
That's actually a really good question. If you can just start somewhere, whether it be taking sodas out of your diet or anything, or just walking just 20 minutes a day maybe, or even 5, just start somewhere and then you can build on it. It's just important to get started. It's much easier once you get started to keep rolling.
Yes, as my mother says, you've got to be in it to win it. So starting is a great place to be. Matt, thank you so much for joining this lab. And Angie, I'll give you the closing statement here. What advice will you give to people who have wanted to train, have wanted to make a fitness lifestyle change, but are afraid, are a little nervous? What do you say to them?
I think that you should reach out into your community and find a buddy to do it with. Find an accountability partner. And if you don't have one, then take all the proper steps you would to hire a contractor or a builder. Find a great personal trainer. The personal trainers are just like your hairstylist. There should be great compatibility. They should know what they're doing. And so if you can't find an accountability partner and someone that can do something with you, then hire somebody who's really great and go there.
Exhibit A and B. And I know you have friends, yes. And if you're not in Columbia, South Carolina, some wonderful things for Angie is going to start providing some online videos, right, down the road. So even if you're not in town, you can take advantage of some of her tips. Tell people a little bit about that. I know that that's not completely finished, but it's coming up, right?
Yeah. So Coal Power Filmworks is a production company here in Columbia, and we partnered with them to start making some video series on proper ways of foam rolling. And the adaptations that I've created on the foam rolling are techniques that the University of South Carolina athletes had never done before. So we've partnered with USC's soccer team to start making these tutorials, and we're hoping to keep expanding that and making a whole series of videos that everyone can do.
That is awesome. Well, I'd like to close out by saying that you both inspire me tremendously, and I hope that if you're tuning in for the first time to the Meredith Show, you've been a little bit inspired by the way that not only Matt and Angie give back to their clients and care so much about the health of the people that they work with, but how they make a point to give back to community. So special shout out to the Epworth Children's Home. And we want to make sure to let you know, yes, they are wonderful people, and we encourage you again to log on to their website, epworthchildren'shome.org, to learn more if you'd like to make a donation or just volunteer, or see if you know somebody who needs a wonderful who has a home for a wonderful child, because there are many that are always looking for forever homes. We would love to do that. And finally, I want you to know that you can call Angie and you can reach her at area code 803-529-4075. If you've been inspired, please give them both a few props. Clap those hands in the upper right-hand corner. Be sure to check out Angie on Facebook at Fit Columbia SC, or Twitter at Fit. That's the 29205. And I just want to say that this is the beginning. If you enjoyed this broadcast, the greatest compliment you can give us is to subscribe to the Meredith Show YouTube channel. And we hope you'll tune in every Friday, where we're always bringing you new guests who have inspiring stories. And as we always say, We want you to know that we know that you or somebody you know or love is doing something amazing. We don't want you to keep it to yourself. So take a little time to share the love. Email us at meredith@themeredithshow.com if you have a wonderful, inspiring story or a guest you think we need to know about. Thanks so much for watching this broadcast, and special thanks to my guests, Angie Wolf at Fit Columbia and Matt Potts. We look forward to seeing you do amazing things, and we thank you for your inspiration and giving back. Thanks so much for being on this lab.
Thank you, Meredith.
Thank you, Meredith.
You guys rock. You're totally inspirational. And thank you to everybody who's tuned in from all over the world. I can't get over all of those dots. It's very exciting. And we look forward to sharing this broadcast with viewers and inspiring for many Fridays in the future. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.